yeasted doughnuts. So that's my recipe. I'm making a double batch. So I've got my milk and buttermilk mixed up together. I'm using buttermilk because I just made butter. I'm using lard. You can use butter or tallow or oil. I've got my eggs. I've got my 2 tablespoons of sugar to go in the yeast and warm milk. I've got my yeast, I've got my sugar, and I've got my flour. Now this is my dough beater. It's got a dough hook on there because I do large batches. So I'm just adding my warm milk to grow the yeast. Then I've got my yeast, and then I've got my sugar. Now I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a stir, and then we'll just let it sit for 10 minutes, and if I've got all the temperatures right, the yeast will be active. We're back over here. It's been 10 minutes. It has activated the yeast. So now I've got all my other ingredients here. I've put my salt in with my sugar that'll go in. And it's just time to turn the machine on. So I've got my machine on. I'm just going to add my sugar and salt. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to start adding my flour. At the start I do just add it a little bit at a time so I don't end up wearing all the flour. So we just keep adding it in. And then when I've got a fair bit in there, I can bring the whole lot over and just start adding it. Now I've got all my flour in there, I'm just going to go in with my lard. It'll start coming together. I may have to add a tablespoon or 2 of more milk if it's too dry. It always depends on the weather. Now I'm going in with my eggs. Now this will need, once it comes together, I will need it for about 10 minutes until it gets elastic. It's starting to come together now, so now I just time it for 10 minutes. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes. I've stopped the machine and it's got a nice elasticity to it. So now I'm just going to get one of the kids to come out and carry this over into a warm spot, and I'll put a couple of tea towels over it. Okay, now we're over here in a warm spot. I'm just going to scrape it down a little bit and trying to ball it together a little bit. And then just pat it together a bit. So we just leave it there like that. We pop a couple of tea towels over it, if I can get the tea towels over it without dropping everything. Not happening very well at all. Oh, there we go. Got this. So yeah, it'll be about an hour and then we'll make donuts. Okay, I've put my frying pan on the stove. I've put some lard in. I'm cooking my donuts in lard. Now I'm just pouring some oil in. It takes a fair bit of lard to fry donuts. Now I've got the lard on heating up. I'm just going to sprinkle some flour on my bench so that it doesn't stick to it. I need a fair bit of space because I'm doing quite a few donuts. So this is what my dough, it's risen, doubled in size. Now I've just got to tip it out. So I'm just getting my dough out. It's still a little bit sticky. Just get all that dough out of there. And then I just get a little bit at a time and put it over here. And then I just roll it out to the thickness. It will rise back up again a bit. But by the time I've rolled all this out and cut them, it will have risen enough to go in the hot lard. So then I've just got my cutter. I'm just going to cut them, and they just stack up at the end. I end up with quite a lot of donuts out of this. Stop it. This is the last of the dough. I just scrunched together all the bits that I had left. Now you can do these with jam in the middle, cream in the middle, after you cook them and cool them. My kids are sick of the jam ones, so they're having icing in the middle and melted chocolate on top. So yeah, that's that part done. So now I've come back over to the fat. It should be getting hot. I've just got a piece of dough that wasn't quite ready, wasn't quite size, just odd sods. I'm just using it to test my oil, fat, lard, tallow, whatever you want to call it. And it looks like it's about the right temperature. So yeah, this is what the donuts look like before I fry them. There's quite a few there. You can see that one was just bits I had left over, I smushed together. Okay, so they've risen in the time it took me to do the others. Now I just fill my pan with the donuts. There we go, my pan is full. It takes a couple of minutes each side. Okay, they're starting to get good colour on that side. Now I just go round and flip them over before they get too brown. I want them cooked but not burnt. They don't take as long on the other side. So they just cook a little bit more on that side until it's cooked like that one. And just like that, they are done. Now these are awesome. You can just drop them straight in cinnamon sugar, but we're going to be putting icing in the middle and melted chocolate on top because that's how my kids like them. And we ice these up and freeze them for school lunches. But yeah. And there's our first batch out. And that's my pile of donuts finished. A few of them got a little bit crispy. So they just cool there now for an hour or so, and then we'll make the filling and melt some chocolate to put on top. But they'll all get frozen for school lunches. Now to make the icing that's going to go inside the donuts. Like I said before, you can put jam in them, roll them in cinnamon when they're hot. I've cooled these down. We're going to cut them in half and put a simple icing inside, a glaze on top with some crushed Kit Kats. So I've got 2.5 cups of icing sugar, half a cup of cocoa powder. I'm just adding some melted butter and some lemon juice, and I'll see whether I've got it too wet, too dry, and add some more if I need to. So I'm just going to add a little bit more butter and maybe a drop more lemon juice, just because it's a little bit dry. I don't measure my liquid, I just add a little bit at a time. And that there is the consistency that we're looking for. It doesn't fall off your spatula unless you give it a good shake. But that should be a nice chocolatey filling for the yogurt donuts. My filling's ready. I just go and cut them in half and line them up here so they're ready for the filling. So now I just use the back of a spoon. I put some on the back of the spoon and put it on, and that one's got its filling and it's ready for glazing. The back of the spoon makes it easier. Just get the top and then they can be glazed. Okay, they've all got their chocolate filling in the middle of them now. Now I've got to get the glaze ready. So I've got crushed Kit Kats to go on top. I've got my icing sugar in there. I've got egg whites and a pinch of salt in there, and I'm just going to whisk it up lightly. So I just whisk that lightly and break the egg whites up so that it'll mix through my icing sugar. So I just add my egg whites to the icing sugar, and then we'll just see how much more we've got to add, because I want this quite runny, because it's just going to be a little light glaze that'll stick the Kit Kats to the top. Okay, so I've got that all mixed in. It's pretty good consistency actually. I didn't wash my bowl out. It's only had icing sugar, chocolate icing sugar in there, and it will not matter. If you want pristine white glaze, and I'm just adding a little bit of water. I'm not worried about the colour. I didn't add water, I added butter, sorry. So I just grabbed my donut, it's got the filling in it. I just dunk it in the glaze. Just kind of let it run over it a bit, angle it a bit. And then I'll just give it a little dunk in there. And yes, the bits and pieces will fall down the side. It will not matter. I am going to make a mess on my bench. But yeah, that's how they come up. That icing will set hard and won't fall off. These will go into the freezer for the kids' morning tea at school. And there we have it. They're my yeasted donuts with chocolate filling and glazed with crushed Kit Kats on top. They're a bit wild looking, but the kids do not care.